Madini Mazimba, I'm back again. So not over this past weekend, this long Easter weekend, I bumped into a colleague of mine, LJ. He was with his friend. And we got into this discussion about the state of the local arts industry in Zimbabwe. And we discussed a couple of issues, a couple of topics that are very, very interesting. Some of them I think I'll make videos about them in the future, but there's one topic, there's one issue that really struck a chord within me. As we were having the discussion, LJ asked a question, why don't local artists love to sample our local classics? Why don't they want to sample our classics from the many countless classics that we have in Zimbabwe? Yes, there are a number who do sample from them, but it's not as widespread as one would have expected. And this got me thinking, because it's something that I wanted to discuss a couple of years back, but push. So when he asked that question, all those thoughts, they just came back to me, and I started thinking, but why? Why do these guys? I definitely want, to sit down with various artists, pick their brain. Why don't they love, to sample music that was done by the legends, by those who paved the way for them? I just thought, let me make this video. Let us have this discussion with the whole of Zim. I definitely enjoyed that discussion with LJ, and his friend. Now, as you look at music, from all over the world, especially in those successful, nations, when it comes to music, you get to see those people. They're very proud of where their music came from. They are very proud, of the music that came before them, and sampling is one of those things that is used on a very, very large scale. Go to nations such as the United States of America, Nigeria, go up to SA. The biggest artists, they sample a lot, from those that came before them, and somehow it feels as if that chapter of the book has been lost when it comes to Zim. And sampling definitely has a lot of benefits. If you're sampling, you're definitely taking something that people already love, that people are already familiar with. So I was putting it up as zero. You're starting somewhere with a sound, something that this is a proven winner. This is a proven recipe that people have already shown what they love. So sampling, it definitely gives an artist some advantages, and also it brings new life to the old music. I'm sure for a number of you, your favorite artist, they sampled a certain track. Then you had to look for that track. Which track did he sample on this song of his? Then I'll up to all those tracks from that artist that you had no idea existed. So sampling definitely gives new life to the old music, and that's something. It just keeps the legacy of the music of your country alive. And also sampling definitely improves the creativity that an artist has, because when you're sampling a classic, you definitely have to deliver. There are no two ways about it, because if you mess up a classic track, people, they will descend upon you. Those who love that specific legend, that specific classic, they will descend upon you. So if you decide to sample a track, a classic track, you definitely have to pull your socks up. So it's one thing sampling definitely pushes the artist to be more and more creative. If you look at a lot of artists who are very much known for sampling, we go to the African giant Burna Boy. He samples a lot of Fela Kuti. We go to South Africa's AKA. He samples a lot from Brenda Fassie, Kaifa Semenya. Even if you go to the United States, you get guys like Kanye West, J. Cole. Those guys, they sample each and every song they make. It's filled with a lot of samples. It just shows with these people, they appreciate and they know where their music comes from, and they take some leaves and they take inspiration from that music. So the major question is, why is it here in Zim our artists don't seem to want to sample, don't seem to want to build from what was done by those who came before them? They in a way try to distance themselves from the music, yet not here in Zim. Why is that so? So that was what the discussion was about, and a couple of issues came up. And one issue stood above all, and that's the issue as a nation we suffer from a lack of identity. We have a huge identity crisis. A lot of people, instead of embracing who we are, where we came from, somehow we put a lot of effort trying to distance ourselves from where we are coming from. So, and the music industry has not been spared in this lack of identity. You get to hear a lot of artists, they'll be telling you, my inspiration, I have no inspiration in Zimbabwe, my inspiration are those from outside. Why? how is that even possible that you're an artist and you don't even have an inspiration from Zimbabwe? And some people, they feel ashamed to name someone named Zimbo. That's the person I look up to, because probably they're not that financially successful, despite their talents. They are very, very visible and evident, talents when it comes to music. Because I know that so that person cannot be. And it's something that is killing us as a nation, because that issue of appreciating where we came from, it definitely helps in building each other and building the artists that we have. There's no shame. You could not, okay, maybe an artist who is living or who is late, but that artist was my inspiration. There's no shame in that. It's not like it's just like you just appreciate what I'm inspired, but by what they did, in terms of music. And one genre in Zimbabwe that is sort of overcome that kind of identity crisis, Zim Danso. When you look at Zim Danso, a lot of the young artists, whenever you ask them who's your inspiration, I can guarantee you probably 90% of them, they will name a local artist. Winky D, Freeman, Sekalas, Soja Love. Those guys, they appreciate the people that came before them. So it's very funny to see there are a lot of people they're even ashamed of Sungura music. A lot of people in hip hop, they're ashamed of the guys that pioneered the rap game in the urban grooves era. But those are the guys that paved the way. So I think we definitely need to bridge over that gap and take the music that those guys did, the classics that were done before us, and let's use those to create more hits. So it's quite funny that you get someone who spent a lot of effort, a lot of time trying to copy Burna Boy, who Kuti sometimes may even copy Fela Kuti word to word the whole verse, and that person ndikambotedzere Anjani Ngwenya brothers, ndikambotedzere Farai Pio Macheka, but they go to copy a legend of another nation. So we definitely need to be proud of that which we have. We need to, there's a lot of classics. There are many classics in Zim that are just waiting for people, to take advantage of them. And as I've been in this music game, I've gotten to know a lot of these guys, when you approach them to say, I want to use your song for this and this, they won't even ask for a payment. They just appreciate, this generation appreciates my music. So use it, avamborambe. So which is funny now, going back to the question, why isn't that these new guys sample more of the old music? Even though apana mari anobhadhariswa, and it's a sound that is definitely proven, a sound that will work for you, it work to your advantage. So why can't we do that? So it's something that definitely baffles me day and day, which is why on radio and you see someone trying to sound Nigerian or whatever, I just see the sound that they know. Zimbabwe loves the sound, and a lot of the nations around Zimbabwe, they know our sound, they appreciate it. So if you take advantage of our sound, they will definitely love it. So there is already a market. So why don't many artists take advantage of that? This is something that it's a question that I would definitely want to sit down with a number of artists in pick their brains. Why wasn't it simple? Why would I try to distance, trying to sound like we're kumi? So it's quite interesting. So I think it's one thing we have to get over, we have to overcome if we are to push our music industry to move forward. There is a lot to take advantage of. There are millions, and I think there are thousands and thousands of tracks which many hits can be made from those tracks. Chingotora guitar up, take that keyboard up, take that up, let's make use of that. Zakatoitwa with those people that paved the way. So I think this is quite something I just felt it was worth it to share with you. So for those Vanima who has their views, go in the comment section, tell me, why do you think local artists don't want to sample? Not when you see AKA sample Brenda Fast, not a sampler, but it doesn't feel as if we give the same measure to someone. Why is it that? Yes, I know there are a number of artists who make use of the old music, but why is it not as widespread? Our biggest artists in Zim, they don't seem as if they want to sample music from Magudara. Is it a matter of pride? What's the issue? So I think that's one thing which I definitely feel we need to address if we definitely want to move forward. Let's utilize this distinct sound that we have. When the song goes out, when it goes out Nigeria, this sound is from Zimbabwe. There is nowhere else you can find a sound because we would have embraced where we came from, we would have embraced that which is distinctly ours. So I just felt this is something I had to discuss with you. So for those of you who have some comments, some views, whatever, share, go in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think the artist should do. If you're an artist, tell me what's stopping you from sampling from these old guys. And after that, just come back, like the video, subscribe to the channel. See you again next time.